everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been kind of a long time since I've uploaded my last video, and I'm making this video just because I wanted to get back into the swing of things, and also because I have a lot going on in my life right now, and I kind of just wanted to put it out there for everybody so that, you know, I can answer all the questions in one go. So this is actually a video about why I'm still here in the US and I am not in Japan like I had planned to be on June 26th. But it's going to be a bit longer than that because I want to explain a lot of backstory leading up to that point, which I feel is important, and why it was just so hard for me that day to really realize and understand the situation. Okay, so if you're not looking for a long, talky, boring video, this video is not for you. Okay, so I'm gonna start from way back, and that would be in 2015 when I had met my boyfriend. That was the moment that I started thinking about Japan, and I became interested in international travel, specifically Japan. 2 years later, in 2017, I finally made the trip to go to Japan, and I really had a truly amazing experience. After those 2.5 months that I spent in Japan, I loved it and I wanted to go back. When I was there, I had met my boyfriend's former ALT on the JET program. We sat down for about 30 so minutes talking about what it was like to be an ALT and how you could become an ALT. That was the moment that I started thinking, I want to be an ALT. I wanted to be on the JET program, and I have my own reasons for that. That's another video. Since I came back in 2017, I started preparing myself and my resume to build up my resume to have the skills and the qualifications to go on to the JET program. And while doing all of these things, I was getting my Bachelor of Arts in Psychology at U of A. You can't apply to these jobs with just any high school diploma or GED. You have to have a 4-year education to apply to these jobs. So I couldn't even think about applying to be an ALT on the JET program until 2018. For a whole year, I'm just building up my resume and building up my skills, my qualifications. Then it comes to 2018, and I'm finally able to apply to the JET program for the first time. So I go through the very lengthy application process. I think they give you a whole month or month and a half to complete the application. The most tedious part is writing your essay. From what I've read around online, your essay is the selling point. It's, it's how the people who are looking at your application get to know you. And so it was the most important part, and I think that is what honestly takes up most of the time for the application process. So it's a month and a half. I turned in my application. Then you have to wait until I think it was January until you can find out whether or not you actually got an interview. And by that time, it was 2019, and I'm getting ready to graduate. I'm really betting on this opportunity. I'm thinking, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to graduate from college and I want to go on to the JET program, and that'll be my career for the next 4 to 5 years. Unfortunately, I did not get an interview spot the very first time applying to the JET program. My thought process was, okay, I didn't get onto the JET program the first time, but that's usually the case for me in everything in my life. So I'm gonna go for it a second time, and I'm gonna see what happens. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to keep building up my resume. I need to keep showing them that this is what I want. I transitioned from U of A to working. I start out as a behavior technician working with children, and slowly transitioned from that to working as an assistant teacher at a school in Scottsdale. During that time, the next application process rolls around in October of 2019, which would make me a 2020 JET applicant. And fortunately, I was able to lock in a spot for an interview in January. Now the interview process is a whole nother process that takes a whole nother month. You have the idea that this is your shot, like this is your one shot. You made it through the application, they invited you, they want you on the program, but they want to see if you are who you say that you are. So then I prepared for that for a very, very long time. I went to the interview and I felt confident, and I did the interview and I thought, I'm gonna make it on the JET program. I had a really good feeling, like I felt confident about all of the answers that I had given them, and I don't know why I'm getting sad right now. I think it's just like thinking about like how much time and effort I put into everything. Anyways. So I was very confident, but the interview took place in around January, and I had to wait until March, so 2 months of waiting time to find out whether or not I was actually going to be extended the offer to be in the JET program. So I wait the whole 2 months. Every single day I'm looking at my phone. Every single day I'm thinking, when are the results gonna roll in? When are they gonna come in? I try to really like dive into work the next 2 months, but even then, every day I'm checking my phone. I'm like, when is this email gonna come in? When is it gonna happen? The time frame now, we're talking about March 2020. And for anyone who missed out on current events, March 2020 was basically when the world shut down for COVID. And that just happened to be the month that my interview results came in. So I believe it was right before there was the declared pandemic that I had got my interview results, and it was one of the like happiest, most exciting moments I could remember, because it was something that I had worked so hard for. And I opened the email and it said that they wanted to extend out the offer, that I was going to be a shortlist candidate, and I was just very thrilled about this opportunity. A week later, I find out that COVID, whatever COVID was, it was spreading across the nation quickly, across the world quickly, and then around April, the pandemic had started and borders were closing and travel bans had begun, and it was starting to look like I was going to be waiting for a very, very, very long time. At that point in April, they weren't sure yet if travel plans were going to get canceled. I was waiting to find out, what was going to happen. Were we going? Were we not going? But then after those long 3 to 4 months, we finally get the news that our departure is going to be postponed. So I kept working at my school in Scottsdale, just waiting for any email that would come in and say, that we're going to be leaving soon. Finally, around October, I got news that there was a possibility that we could be departing in January. Around November 2020, I finally decided, okay, it's time to start focusing on the JET program, getting things done, saying goodbye to my family, spending the holidays with the ones that I love. So I left my job in November 2020. I said goodbye to my boyfriend. I closed the lease on my apartment, and I quit my job and I moved back home. That was a huge gamble at the time, mostly because I thought, there was a possibility that I could be leaving. December 2020 rolls around and it's getting very close to departure. We started setting up Zoom meetings, talking about like any final details. The next week rolls by. January 2020, JET candidates will no longer be departing in January due to a spike in COVID. Couldn't leave in September, couldn't leave in January. I was like, well, I can't just sit around waiting for the JET program to tell me whether or not I'm going to be able to leave. So I had to take action again, and I decided to just get a stress-free, easy, simple job. One where I could still stay living with my mom, and I would be able to make a lot of money, which you do need a lot of money to travel overseas. Right now I'm on vacation and I'm in Pine Top, Arizona, and I was sitting in the patio area outside and someone else came out to sit on their patio. So I had to switch my location real quick. So as you can see, I'm no longer outside, I'm inside my hotel room, but I'm just gonna continue where I left off. So basically I was working at the taco shack and I was waiting for an email for the longest time. I was left in the dark and didn't know what was going to happen. And then I got the email from the JET program saying that they're going to try and get us to depart in June 2021. So around the beginning of June, I ended up leaving my job and just using that time to focus on preparing again to leave and saying goodbye to like my friends and family. So basically I'm going out with my friends, doing all these things here and there. I'm also going to largely crowded places. Basically I'm not being safe in the least. And honestly I'm not saying it wasn't my fault. Like maybe I should have been more careful, but at the same time, when you think about how you're leaving your friends and your family for however many years, you kind of don't want to spend that time quarantined in your room alone for 2 weeks. So I did what I did. So then it comes to the last week. I'm getting everything in order. I'm getting all of the important things done. One of those things was to get my COVID test done within 72 hours of departure. One of the requirements was to get a negative COVID test in order to board the plane. I went to get my COVID test done. It took less than 10 minutes, and then in less than 24 hours, my results came back. At this point, all of my bags are packed. I've basically said goodbye to all of my friends and cried because I thought it was going to be a long time before I would see them again. I had just said goodbye to my mom and my brother because they were going to vacation in California. And so I go to the urgent care to pick up my results, and I'm expecting them to be negative. I figured, well, I already had COVID, so the likelihood of me getting COVID again would probably be very slim. So I get my results and they come out positive. And at this time, I'm not really sure what to think. I couldn't even fathom the idea of my test results coming back positive. And I just kind of sat there for like 5 minutes in my car at the urgent care, just kind of slowly freaking out and not really knowing what to do. After I got my positive results, I thought, well, maybe it's just a false positive. So I went to another urgent care and I did another nasal test for COVID. And then I went and I did a saliva test in that same day. So I got 2 different tests done that same day. That night I was frantic. I ended up searching the web to try and find any saliva tests I could take in Arizona. I booked my appointment, the very first appointment that they have that morning at 7 a.m. Wake up at 5:30 a.m. just to drive down all the way to Scottsdale because it's like an hour and 15 minutes away from Florence. And I get my saliva test done. This is 24 hours before departure. I get my test done around 7:05, and from 7:05 a.m. all I can do is wait for my results to come back. And I'm waiting, and with each hour I keep calling the urgent care. Have my results come back? Has the lab tested them yet? Every hour I was just frantic. I didn't know what to do, and I was just anxious that all of my results were going to come back positive. 6 p.m. rolls around and I'm like, I finally get my nasal urgent care swab results in, and they come back positive. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know when my saliva results are going to come back. So I contact my coordinator and I tell him, hey, my results came back positive. Just thought I'd let you know. And of course, I knew what he was going to say. He was going to say that I'd have to be postponed, that I couldn't leave with this group this time. I just knew when I sent that email that I was basically taking the opportunity away from myself. So there you have it. COVID, for the 3rd time, has taken my chance and my opportunity away. And I know that COVID isn't completely to blame, because had I done things differently, I may be in Japan right now. It just sucks. It just sucks. What's done is done. What's happened is over, and you can't just dwell on the bad things that happened to you, and you just have to keep pushing forward no matter what. And that's what I'm gonna try to do. Hopefully I'll get the opportunity to leave to Japan again. As far as I know, the next time departure will be is either late September or sometime after that, but there's just no guarantee. I have no information, and I probably won't have information for a long time. I do worry about the future because COVID will, in my mind, forever be a obstacle. It's really been like a long time coming, and I just know that if I keep holding out, that all of my aspirations and my wishes and my dreams will come true. And I feel like that's just never give up. Just never give up hope. People are gonna try to tear you down. They're gonna try to tell you that it's not gonna work out, that it's not gonna happen, that you should consider doing something else. There's just something I feel about this opportunity, and I just know in my heart it's gonna work out. I know in my heart it's gonna work out. So it was a long video. Thank you for those of you who joined me and sat through the entirety of it. That's my story. So thanks for joining me. There will be more content related to Japan in the near future, hopefully. But for now, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.